What's crappin'? Welcome to the Foreskin, a show dedicated to the happenings of the SJU and Misfits Fantasy Football League. Week 7 in the books, Week 8 on the horizon, and had some movement again this week in the standings. Lots of 4 and 3 teams, lots of 3 and 4 teams. A little bit of gap there, but this week will turn the tides on a lot of people's seasons as half the season, regular fantasy football season, is done with. So we're going to run through the games from last week. We'll go on to Waiver Wire Wednesday and the short trading block, and then we'll do picks for Week 8. So we'll start it off. Matchups from last week. Sausage Wallets took on the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers and defeated them. Sausage Wallets moving to 5-2. Tin Whiskers falling to 7-5. Only Danny Woodhead was under his projection for the Sausage Wallets. They scored 98 points this week. And, you know, for the Tin Whiskers, hard to say anyone really let them down besides Andy Dalton with 6 points. They kind of are who we thought they were. They're a 75-point team. It is what it is. Last week was definitely an anomaly when they scored 130, whatever it was, against my Pretenders. Next up, Tallahassee Trouser Snakes took on the Flint Tropics in what I believe was the lowest scoring match of the week. 74-61, Trouser Snakes snuck it out with Michael Vick on bye. What was David Treadle to do? He was going to put in Brandon Whedon, and he did, and he scored 19 points for him. Nice play this week. 2 tight ends set of Finley and Vernon Davis. Didn't prove too bountiful for David, but still got him 3 points total and was enough to get the win. For the Flint Tropics, Larry Fitzgerald and Marcus Colston, 5 points between the two of them. Tough to win games when those two score 5 points total. Next up, the undefeated Sioux City Smugglers took on the defeated Duluth Draft Dodgers and won this game 129-66. Oh, it was a match of haves and have-nots. With the bye week blues for the Draft Dodgers, Roddy White and Matt Ryan out, they really stood no chance against the Smugglers, who just dominated. It wasn't a double-up, though. There was a double-up this week, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but this game was not a double-up. Next up, Hollywood Hotties and the Gnawbone Butte Pirates butted heads. The Butte Pirates came out on top, 91-82. More consistency on the Butte Pirates side this week. 6 out of 9 in double figures versus 4 out of 9 for the Hollywood Hotties. And Zach sneakily creeps into 3rd place, I believe, behind the Sausage Wallets and the Sioux City Smugglers at 5-2. The Bakersfield Border Collies are now out of Bakersfield. After a loss to the Poughkeepsie Pandas last week, 98-95, they are calling back.
I spent last night in the arms of a girl in Louisiana. Going out on the highway, my thoughts are still with her. Such a strange combination of a woman and a child. Strange situation, stopping every 100 miles, calling Baton Rouge. A replay of last night's events rolled through my mind, except a scene or two erased by sweet red wine. And I see a truck stop sign ahead, so I change lanes. I need a cup of coffee and a couple dollars change, calling Baton Rouge. So here we go. Operator, won't you put me on through? I got a smile up down to Baton Rouge. Hurry up, won't you put her on the line? I gotta talk to the girl just one more time. Down to my last
closest game of the week with really all the games stemming on Mike Wallace in the Sunday Night Football matchup, and you could literally watch him lose the game for the Bakersfield, now Baton Rouge Border Collies. He dropped several balls that would have got him plenty of yards, and he dropped an easy touchdown that would have won him the game against the Poughkeepsie Pandas, who put up a good week with 98 points. Crapstone Prairie Dogs and the Buffalo Armadillos met this week in Buffalo, and the Crapstone Prairie Dogs came out with a big win on the road, 88-72. First look at the three-headed monster of Lynch, AP, and Matt Forte for the Crapstone Prairie Dogs. They put up 34, 43 points respectively. Not too bad, especially considering the Buffalo Armadillos backs Ray Rice, T. Rich, and David Wilson put up 6 points combined. There's the difference in the game right there, ladies and gentlemen. One side note for the Prairie Dogs, they scored 5 points between their two receivers, and I don't think that's a strange coincidence because they are struggling at depth at wide receiver, and as much as I know Alex likes that three-headed monster, it might be something that is going to come back to haunt him later in the season if he doesn't get on the waiver wire. Last game of the week, the Potomac Pretenders at 4-2 took on the Waco Wrinkle Beasts at 1-4, and the Wrinkle Beast crushed the Pretenders. They doubled them up, 110-52. The Pretenders lost MJD, and only Matt Hasselback was the double-digit scorer for the Pretenders. And he ran into some monsters this week. Drew Brees, 29 points. Vincent Jackson, 29 points. And Chris Johnson with 32 points. That was enough to get it done for the Waco Wrinkle Beasts. So, waiver wire Wednesday, not a lot going on this week because Rashard Jennings was already on the Hollywood Hotties. There was no, obviously, free agent acquisition on him. So the highest bidder this week was the Waco Wrinkle Beast with $51 on LaRod Stevens-Halling after his 100-yard and a touchdown game against the Minnesota Vikings, which Joel Stackley saw with his own eyes. On the trading block this week, William Powell and Kenny Britt left the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes for the Waco Wrinkle Beast, Reggie Bush and Brandon LaFell. This trade obviously didn't play a lot in what happened this week, as Reggie Bush was on bye, Brandon LaFell was on the bench, and Powell and Britt scored, I think, 6 points combined, which didn't obviously make a difference in the Pretenders and Waco Wrinkle Beast game. Picks for this week: the Pretenders travel to Flint, Michigan. Pretenders are on a 3-game slide. Okay matchups, I would say, and lots of okay matchups for the Flint Tropics. They have a lot of outs, probables, and questionables. Aaron Hernandez did not make the trip to London today, and he will not play this week because of a ailing ankle. I like the Pretenders this week, my team. I don't know, I just think they're going to get off this 3-game slide they're on and return to the top third of the fantasy standings. Crapstone Prairie Dogs take on the Tallahassee Trouser Snake. Michael Vick is back. Get our first look at Reggie Bush as he takes on New York Jets. And for Crapstone, Forte at Carolina, AP at home versus Tampa, and Marshawn Lynch versus Detroit. Gotta like those 3 matchups. Boy, I think it's going to be a tight game. I have just a feeling that Michael Vick could have a magical performance this week against the Falcons in Philly off the bye. But I'm going Crapstone. I think those 3-headed running backs are going to put up some big points this week for Crapstone, and they are going to knock off the Trouser Snakes. Callin Baton Rouge Border Collies, welcome to Louisiana. Mike Wallace and Antonio Brown, I think, are going to be the matchup to watch in this week. Brown on the Buffalo Armadillos and Mike Wallace on the Bakersfield Border Collies. Baton Rouge Border Collies. That's going to be tough to get used to. I think Mike Wallace is going to get the throws and the catches and the touchdowns, and I think he's going to outperform Antonio Brown. And with no Ray Rice and T. Richardson with some banged up ribs, I like the Baton Rouge Border Collies to get their first win for the fans in Louisiana. Upset special of the week, the Hollywood Hotties and the Poughkeepsie Pandas. The Pandas have some bye-week blues, and the Hollywood Hotties are putting out a pretty good lineup with 3 starting backs, including Michael Turner, A.J. Green, and, of course, Rashard Jennings filling in for the ailing Maurice Jones-Drew. I mean, those 3 aren't Arian Foster, Doug Martin, and what's Rogers' other back? Jamal Charles, but they're not a bad startup. I don't know. I think what we've seen so far out of fill-in running backs is they usually disappoint. See Felix Jones last week. And besides DeLone Carter and Robert Meacham for the Poughkeepsie Pandas, his lineup looks really good, and he's got some good matchups. I'm going Pandas with the upset. Blowout of the week, the Smugglers take on the undeserving third-place Gnawbone Butte Pirates. No Arian Foster this week for the Smugglers, no problem. He will roll over the overrated Butte Pirates. Unreal matchups for the Smugglers this week. It could be a big week, and it should be the Toyota blowout of the week. Duluth Draft Dodgers take on the Sausage Wallets in Poland. I think LaShawn McCoy breaks out in front of the home fans this week. And for the Dodgers, it's all on Matt Ryan and Roddy White. How will they fare against the Philly pass defense? I'm going Sausage Wallets this week. I just think McCoy puts up a lot of numbers in that game. And Philly's pass defense, especially with that new coordinator, could be pretty good. The two newcomers this week, Mike Vanis and Joel Stackley, play. The Chernobyl Tin Whiskers and the Waco Wrinkle Beasts play in the last game of the week. Jordy Nelson might not play because of a tight hammy. And the Waco Wrinkle Beasts have Drew Brees at Denver. I think there's going to be big points in that game. And I think Brees might put up another 30 burgers. So I'm going Wrinkle Beasts this week. I just think there's more firepower overall for Joel's team. With that said, follow us on Twitter at SJU Misfits and on YouTube, SJU and Misfits, youtube.com/SJU and Misfits. Until next week, good luck out there, and we will see you back here for Week 8 results and Week 9 picks next week. Over and out.